Very warm welcome
Loud,
to our
loud, loud,
listeners.
loud, loud, loud. Good morning,
Louder?
Roger.
Yes, good morning. Is it?
Louder, louder, Roger, louder.
We need to be louder. Okay, let's see if I can. Uh,
Apologies, people. Our sound check is also going on record. It's a sign of the times. The planets are
how
doing
about now?
things. See, this is perfect.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
now
very
a very, a very continue,
good morning.
a
A
very
very
good
good morning to
morning.
our listeners.
And today's very good morning is from Paleface Chakra and Professor Roger Strings, because this is adult version of the alien. Roger, show
Yes,
us those
absolutely.
stones.
Ah, the stones. Yeah, just a second.
Show us the stones. People, youthful, the very youthful version would have played marbles with this. Okay. The adolescent version would have been busy throwing stones at whatever they didn't like. If it displeases you, throw stones at it, smash it, break it, right?
But
That
I'm using these as my lucky charms. I don't know why.
so we have grown up enough to understand that if we hold stones in our hand, it can be very centering because stones are part of the universe. What are these stones made
Absolutely.
of, Roger? Tell me.
These are marbles.
These are marbles. These are the marbles we play,
Yes.
right? So these are glass.
Yes.
These are glass.
Yes.
And where does glass come from?
Uh, I'm not aware of it.
You're not aware of it. Okay. So you're not a professor of geology. Well,
No, no.
think sand. Think sand.
Okay. Yes.
Think of the
Okay.
glass. Think of
Uh,
how glass is made. Go back to history, the history of science.
yes. 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 Yes.
Who's
Now I
being
remember.
professor? I'm being the professor. See, this is the good thing about today's education is that we are all professors, we are all students, and that's what we want to.
Absolutely.
So this glass comes from nature.
It does. Definitely does.
Now, there's a place here, not far from my house, called. It used to be called McPherson Square.
Okay. Okay.
Louder, louder.
No,
Yes, but what's it doing? Why is it going on and off?
I don't know. It's some
You
Zoom
don't know.
problem. I have to
So it's but
change.
this is Saturn in Pisces. You see, Pisces is that water energy. So every time Saturn tries to bring some structure in, Neptune comes and washes over it and says, "No, I'm going to rain on your little rule book." So there shall be no rule book. There shall be no control on decibels. Go as soft as you wish, as loud as you wish. We are musicians. We are going to show you the full range of decibels here.
Definitely.
That's Neptune for you. And as Neptune washes over the shore, there's something there called sand. That's where water and earth meet.
Yes.
And the sky beams down on them, and the sun shines down on them, and we walk on
Yes.
them. And you notice I'm in beachwear, even though Roger seems to be heading for the mountains. So it's all part of the fun. And you see that sand there. Now you see those marbles in Roger's hand. And you think of the whole range of all that we have gone through from the baby aliens who were playing with marbles, the alien who cycled off because he just
Yes.
wanted to have fun. That's all. He just wanted to split from what he was expected to do and do something else.
Absolutely.
So what do we do? We scoop up that sand, we alienate that poor sand from the shore, and we turn it into glass through a process where the sand gets hotter than the sun would ever have, you know, heated it up to. And we alter it and we change it and we shape it and we get these beautiful glass marbles. You think these marbles cry to go back and become sand?
Uh, Probably. I don't know. I mean,
So
do
when
we, do we, do we cry enough to go back to our youth, or back to where we started
I
from?
think we do. I think we do.
We do.
I think we keep taking
Sometimes we
birth
do.
again. Well, let me tell you about McPherson Square. It used to be plain simple McPherson Square, and then one fine day it became the Glass Park. And why
Okay.
did it become the Glass Park? No, there's no glass there. A glass manufacturing company decided to sponsor it.
Okay. And that's how it became the glass
Yes,
park.
that's how it became the Glass Park. And they put up big posters over there saying, you see, glass is environment friendly because you can recycle it completely and you don't hurt a soul. When I was
Definitely,
in this
yes.
corporate, this god awful corporate, I was sent to do an assignment for a year and a half at the self same glass factory, which
The
became
same glass
the
factory.
same set, same glass factory. So when I
All
walked
right.
to the park years later and saw their board, I said, why, hello, karma comes full circle. Here we have the same people who, whose factory I would visit. And more of that factory later. We are not here to talk about factories today. We are here to alienate ourselves from all the factories. But the factories won
Right.
my love again by by maintaining that park. And that park brought great solace to my mother for her morning walks after she had broken her femur bone in
Okay.
1999. It was a peaceful place for her to walk in. There was lots of lovely nature there. And we used to have snails walking, snails would cross our paths. There'd be plenty of snails there. And when we took our walk, these lovely little snails would keep crossing, and we'd wait for those snails. And there was this obnoxious woman who was so bent on completing her target of 500 rounds of the park a day that she would crush all the snails that crossed her path. She would casually crush them, stomp on them and keep going. So you see how, and my mother with her stick and her unstable hip would always wait for the snails, walk around the snails, care for the snails, and keep going. And that was the beautiful thing. We have this lovely universe and we all handle it differently. We all
Absolutely.
respond to it
Yes.
differently. The person who crushed the snails was alienated from the universe. That's what adulting did to her. She wasn't, she wasn't even one of those those typical cases who go there for weight loss because she seemed quite lean and mean. Unless it is that she
Okay.
attained that, state of nirvana and wanted to sustain it. That
Probably
I don't know.
should.
I don't know her past shape and size. But she was ready to crush everything in her wake to meet her target. And that perhaps is one manifestation of the corporate mantra. What does the professor have to say to this?
Um, I think that sometimes, I would call it, do we call it obsession? Because, you know, to reach your target, you can destroy anything that comes in your path. And Probably, um, you know, the things that you destroy, probably that lady who was running around and wanted to complete those rounds
Hmm.
and didn't even notice that the snails were there in
Hmm.
the first place.
Hmm.
So, these people who we see that they destroy anything that comes in their path, um, and they reach their goal. I think they don't even notice what they are destroying, and that's where things go wrong.
Or what does
It's
this
not like.
setting come from?
Mhm.
How do they envisage their goal? I mean, what is their, how do they, what is the fantasy they are realizing? To come back to realitized fiction, obviously they too have a fiction. They too have a vision.
They do.
They have it
Yes.
drawn in their heads, in their imagination, whatever it is. Right now, we are having psychopaths running the world, a small bunch of psychopaths.
Yes.
Yes. You can choose your own favorite psychopath and put them on the list. I will name no names because I'm on YouTube. So lately I've been finding that YouTube now, I know you're listening to this, so don't deplatform me, but I'm noticing that YouTube has suddenly become very, very liberal about people who are criticizing YouTube. Now that is free speech. You see, when we come up with this chat show, we tell people, please feel free to critique.
Absolutely.
So far, nobody,
Absolutely. We
nobody
do.
has done it. All I'm getting right now is fan mail. But I'm just waiting. It's a matter of time before I get the hate mail.
That's all right as well. You know.
If I haven't got
Uh,
my share of hate mail, then I'm not doing something right. And this is making me
Absolutely.
nervous now because I'm not getting hate mail.
Uh, um,
So,
about this,
yes,
about getting hate mails, or getting um, getting these feedbacks,
yes,
which are not rather positive.
yes.
Uh,
And which
people.
are also malicious and offensive at times for no rhyme or reason, or they could
Yes.
be plain honest critique. There are
Absolutely.
two kinds, and all the shades in between,
Yes.
right?
Uh, yes. 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 Um, I think you know there is a popular belief that's been going on nowadays, that if you don't like it, then just ignore it.
Hmm.
And me being an artist myself, being on the stage myself, I would say that, if I am if I am up for getting, um compliments, if I'm really happy about receiving compliments, then I should be equally open to receiving, um the hate speeches, or the hatred that comes with it.
The tomatoes.
Yes. Yes.
Eggs and tomatoes are not constructive, they're just rude. Likewise, flattering, cringing fan speech also is not particularly valuable because you get the feeling that all that somebody got from you was reflected glory. They somehow feel you're okay, you've done something grand, and to go and say, "Oh, I love you, this guy is great," gives them a kind of a high.
Yes, they do. Like, in one of the movies that I watched long back, that it was a movie about rock music. So
Which one is
the
this?
Bart,
Which one?
it was probably the rocker, or um uh I don't remember. It wasn't School of Rock. It was either The Rocker or what's the name of that movie? I forgot the name of the other movie. Um, Rock of Ages. Rock of Ages.
Oh,
Either it's Rock of Ages or it's The Rocker.
mhm.
Um, the bartender, she says something that is, um, when the lights shine bright, it doesn't only illuminate the person on the stage, but it also fades away the people who are in the audience. So yeah.
Hmm, 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 hmm. Number 16 has been trying to fade away that moon, which I've been getting pictures of. Number 16 being the obnoxious building that's come up right in my face to block my sunset. For new viewers who don't know, for people who know me, they associate with me with number 16. They know enemy number one for me is number 16. But then I tell them
Yes,
I have no enemies. There's no point in having enemies, right?
absolutely, absolutely,
But then we do have critics. We do have people who disagree with us. We do have people who don't like us
definitely,
also for a valid reason.
definitely, and that's all right. That's all right.
And all of a sudden, YouTube seems very nice and hospitable to all these people who are not being, I mean, for good reason, for very logical reasons, not being very nice to people such as the likes of YouTube and others, like people allies of YouTube. So, what's cooking?
Um,
I would say
Something
from
fishy,
Led
probably.
Zeppelin, ooh, it makes me wonder.
We are back to the stairway.
Yes, yes, and that's the line in that stairway play, which the alien who comes from abroad as the consultant to the school, he comes up with that line.
Okay, okay.
When he comes in upon the scandal which is going on in the school,
Mm-hmm.
and what that school principal is up to, the games she is up to. He goes there as a consultant to make the posh school a posher school. But what does he
Okay.
discover? Worms coming out of the cans. So he essentially he goes there. He does a sting operation.
Okay.
Yes, because he gets fired up by the idealism of this teacher.
Okay.
This teacher and her approach to life, they inspire something in him. So instead of doing the work that he was brought there to do, he goes off on a tangent and gets into activism and gets totally into something completely different.
Correct.
And we find out at the end of the day, we find out that those who indulge in these borderline psychopaths, I don't have any other word for them, but people who at the expense of young people, at the expense of their education, exploiting a position of where they are supposed to be protectors, instead become destroyers. It comes from some wound inside them,
Probably
wound
does.
that goes very far back.
Absolutely.
And
Probably
maybe if
does.
that wound is not correctly handled and healed, it turns into a poison that then becomes a contagion.
Right. That's what happens. I believe that's what happens,
And this is what I'm noticing everywhere.
Yes. Yes. That's true.
Well,
It's
why are
it's
we
it's
talking about poisons? Then we should be talking about aliens.
Aliens, yes. For our previous chat shows, I mean, in all the previous chat shows where we talked about the alien, um, in most of the cases we antagonized alienation. But since we are talking about alienation as an adult, and
Mm.
probably now we are looking at alienation from the point of view um, that we look at life at this particular moment.
Which
I
particular
think
moment comes the
this
question?
right now
This
is in
moment
now.
in time, but which moment in the
Yes,
individual's life is this?
that's another thing.
A
That's
different
another thing.
moment in your
Yes,
life, a different moment in my life, and a different moment, say, in
absolutely.
Vijay and Aparajita's life. They are all at different stages of evolution. And it's yet
Yes,
another moment in the life of that psychopath who thinks he owns the world and everybody else is his slave.
yes,
You get that? You get that pattern you're seeing everywhere now. We have the petty psychopaths, but they are not the top of the chain. When you go a little deeper, you see that they are reporting to some bigger psychopath. So
yes, they definitely are.
who is the biggest psychopath of all then? The devil, the fallen angel. Remember, the devil started as the angel who fell.
Yeah,
Not that I, not that
definitely.
not that I take any religious analogy seriously, because there are so many
Mhm.
interpretations of a fallen star.
Absolutely.
And I personally look at it in a different way because if you don't fall, you can't rise again. And that's
True.
another point of view. So, like if you look at, say, you look at Lucifer, you can look at Lucifer simply as a star. Sometimes the light
Absolutely.
dims,
Yes.
sometimes the light shines more. The star rises, the star sets. It's all
Yes,
good. And when the star shines brightly, it throws light maybe on the dark. And there's
it
dark
does.
all around. It illuminates what is beautiful there, it also illuminates what is ugly.
Absolutely.
And when
It
it
does.
illuminates what is ugly, you say, look, the devil.
I mean,
This guy shone too brightly, and look, he became the devil. But the devil was anyway there.
it was there. It
This
was
guy
right
got
there.
too big for his boots, so he fell. He became the devil. I mean,
That's what we were talking about
we look at
last time.
our own from through our own lens. We all have a pre-programmed lens, right?
Yes, we do.
And we go through. Some of us go through life with that thing fixed. The thing is just it's hardwired. Like you said, certain patterns are hardwired.
Yes.
So hard wiring melts, the fuse blows like the power supply, which I spoke about. Remember the power
Yes.
supply on the
Yes.
computer, which was abused and then packed up. It rebelled. So that's
Yes, I do
alienation
remember.
or rebellion. It rebelled. It rebelled by annihilating itself. Think of the ultimate rebellions. Well, I won't say that people taking their life is exactly rebellion, but it is definitely alienation.
It is.
And
It
it is
is.
a violent act, violence towards self, which is triggered by that alienation, a persistence of that alienation. An alienation which one is not able to remedy, a gap which seems like it can never be closed.
Right.
Or a tunnel through which all you can see is the exit route. There are many ways of looking at this.
Yes.
And you, as the bespectacled professor, now have to take over and tell us what is exactly your way of looking at this right now. What are you feeling alienated from right now?
See, as I said before, that we have antagonized alienation, and this is what we have antagonized basically. The kind of alienation that, um, takes you farther and farther away from um, all that constructs you, all that builds you. It takes you, deeper inside. It makes you drown basically. And so, like we were talking about the layers, we alienate ourselves, and then we hide ourselves under so many layers of, um whatever those
Narrative,
layers are made up of.
narratives that we
Yes.
construct.
Yes. Yeah. We hide ourselves under the layers of the narratives that we construct, and at the end of the day we find ourselves alone there. Just our narratives is just our points of view, is just us, and we are just surrounded by us. And that's where the problem lies, that's where selfishness grows from, um that's where the poison brews probably, you know
How often
and
are these narratives constructed by us, and how often are they just sold to us?
most of the times they are just sold to us. We um we take them as our own narratives, but then again, most of them are just sold to us.
Hmm.
We don't create them. I mean, for example, I could call this my laptop, I could call this my microphone, but then again, I didn't create it, I bought it.
Yes,
Same
yes.
with the
That's
same
a very
same.
fundamental case of we are all interconnected.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can't be making microphones and talking into microphones. So it is like we handle different creative aspects. But somebody has not sold you that microphone without your understanding why you have bought that microphone. You are clear about your purpose with the microphone.
Yes, I am.
Some politician at a nearby park is also using the same microphone. He has a very
Yes.
different purpose in
Yes.
selling his narrative to somebody. Why? So that he
Absolutely.
can take control over that somebody. You think these speech giving politicians are there to serve you? That's the video I was watching yesterday. A short video I was watching. I don't think I've sent you the link to that one, but I've sent you links to a longer video by the same person, and it was really fascinating, where he was coming from. But the short one is, I think I sent you the short one also. The short one you must not miss.
Okay. Okay.
If anybody would like the link, I'll put the link to the video in the description. Please watch it at your own risk. If you are a politician, you're not going to like what you hear. If you think politicians love you and serve you, you're going to have that illusion shattered. So I'm warning you already. So watch it at your own risk. I'm not
Absolutely.
I don't promote anything except occasionally myself and Roger. And what we promote really is the idea that you have it in you to create your own narrative
Yes, definitely.
and to manifest it. And that's exactly what we were talking about. So if you are under all these layers that are burying you and burying your soul, then what good have you
Mhm.
done? You can go deep, you can dive deep and learn something. You're not diving
Yes,
deep,
definitely.
you're not diving so deep because a fiction is hiding everything from you, because you want to hide yourself from something. I don't think you
The
start by wanting to hide yourself from anything. You start by being sold the narrative, either by created by you as one of your many fantasies, to maybe to escape from some sense of hurt or wound,
right.
or sold to you by somebody who sees your vulnerability and wants power over you.
Absolutely. Yes.
So basically,
You see,
yeah, speak.
yeah, this is what I was talking about. I mean, um, you drown inside those layers, and you said that, yeah, we could go deep and we could realize something. But then again, there's a subtle difference there.
Hmm.
If we are diving deep inside and we are clear about our purpose, that's when we dive deep to learn something. I told you about, once we talked about two kinds of silences.
Hmm.
One is the silence that screams, and the other is the silence that sings.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. You said.
it's the same thing goes with diving deep as well.
Hmm.
One is the diving. In one case you dive deep to learn something. In the other case you just drown.
Yes. So when you're diving deep to learn something, you are protected.
You are protected. Yes, you are.
You are disturbing the comfortable to learn something. We are not
Absolutely.
we are not creatures that live in the deep.
Exactly.
So we are taking a risk and exploring it.
Yes.
And we, as I said earlier, sometimes to take that risk and explore, we need somebody as a guide.
Yes, we do.
As in the case when I was encouraged to get into the deep end of the swimming pool and move from deep to shallow to learn to swim. And that was the
Yes.
first time I actually swam. But then I could have drowned.
Yes.
And
But
what if
at
that
least you
person
had
had
that.
a motive? What if the teacher had a motive in making people drown? What if he was a psychopath who liked, who liked to drown little kids in the swimming pool because he could get
We
away with it? You have such
in
people.
our Yes, we do have such people, no? Uh, we do have a lot of fly-by-night charlatans out there
We do selling
selling
everything,
their.
including swimming lessons,
Absolutely
and mostly selling drugs. To come back to my
true.
favorite subject, by which I don't mean heroin, because
Yes, I do understand.
nobody sells you that to heal you. That's sold for your recreation, not for the benefit of
Absolutely.
your body. But then you're sold all these drugs for the benefit of your body.
Absolutely.
Incidentally, I have bust one more of my drugs, and I hope I sustain that because there's a very strong temptation to go and pick it up again. Sometimes life is
See.
very easy when you have to walk down a few meters, not even
Hmm.
I mean basically walk down 2 flights of stairs and walk into a pharmacy where you can
Yes.
literally where you can and where the relationship is so good that you can even pick it up and pay later.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how easy that makes it, right?
It does.
But fortunately the person who runs that pharmacy is not a psychopath. So he's
Yeah.
not going to give you
Exactly.
something that you don't need. He has several times said, don't take those antibiotics. They're all kachra. I mean, they're not all
No,
kachra.
that's
They come in the right place at the right time, but then you don't abuse them. Every time you sneeze, when I go
exactly.
there to chat with him, I've seen so many people walk in saying, give me this. And he starts fighting with them. And he says, what the hell? What the hell for do you want to? And that person says, I have the sniffles. And he says, if you have the sniffles, go home and gargle. So it's very difficult to find somebody so responsible in that line of work Similarly, you
Mm-hmm.
have teachers who are waiting for you to see if you're a student, a weak student, and to invite you for tuition.
Yes.
That breed,
Yes.
so that they can make
Yes.
more money off you. There's
Absolutely.
also a teacher who says, look, you're hardly a candidate for tuition. I would like to see you take this up on your own and shine. And then there's a teacher who sees that a student could need a helping hand, but that teacher doesn't, that teacher does her best or his best to work on that student within the scope of their job. That's what
Exactly.
they're paid to do. So they do it to the best of their ability. And sometimes, very rarely, when it's justified, that student needs something extra. And then it is reasonable to take your reasonable guru dakshina for that, and to let go of the student when the student stops needing you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Not to
Yes.
work that student into that cycle of dependence, which the student starts to crave also. I have had parents
Yes.
come to me saying, don't let her go, don't let her go. I will keep paying. Don't worry,
And
I will
that's
pay
wrong.
fees. So
That's very wrong.
that's very wrong. That person,
Yes.
you have to let go of that person, because that person has, you have to actually sometimes push that person out, because that person has to go through life on their own.
Exactly. Exactly. It's true.
And now Zoom is going to let go of us. See, Zoom Baba.
Yeah.
So
So technically,
let us actually have our coffee now. I think we are both in need of coffee, because we have been doing some very serious work as professors all night, researching all this.
yeah, let's have some coffee and let's come back with, you know, more about alienation.
Yes,
And we have explored the vicinity of it, but
yes,
now let's get into the core
yes.
after the short break.
We'll do that. Okay. Catch you guys. Bye.
Yes.